Upon arriving at my in-laws' house, my husband greeted me with a smirk.
Just in time. The results arrived, so come in.
I wondered what he meant by results as I followed him into the living room. There, my husband placed an envelope containing documents on the table. What's this?
It's the DNA test results. Now your affair will be proven.
He grinned and spread the contents of the envelope on the table. My name is Mia, a 27-year-old homemaker. I've been married to my husband, Oliver, for 2 years, and I'm currently pregnant. Earlier, I experienced intense labor pains and was rushed to the hospital. However, several hours have passed since then, and I just gave birth. After enduring painful contractions, I finally saw the incredibly cute form of my newborn. I felt a sudden release of tension and relief that everything went well. The relief and joy must be overwhelming. But as soon as the relief settled in, exhaustion hit me like a wave. After enduring labor for a full day without sleep, I desperately wanted to rest. The nurse said she'd take the baby to clean up, but I kept an eye on her. My husband had rushed over after work to be there for the birth, but he hadn't said much afterward. At that moment, fatigue clouded my senses, and I didn't notice anything amiss with my husband. The nurse returned, cradling my baby in her arms. She turned to my husband and said,
"Please hold your child."
But he made no move to take the baby, instead locking eyes with me and saying something I couldn't quite hear. Exhaustion clouded my senses. I was still recovering from my own procedures, unable to focus on his words. "What did you say?" I asked, but he left the room without answering, never once holding our child. I wondered what had happened as the nurse and doctor exchanged uncomfortable glances. Confused and drained, I drifted off to sleep. Afterward, I found myself in the hospital room, and my child had been taken to the neonatal unit. The next day, my husband didn't visit the hospital at all. According to the nurse, he had been there and met our child, but he avoided my room. Then, an unexpected message arrived from him.
Let's discuss divorce once you're discharged.
I couldn't comprehend it. Why now? When I asked for an explanation, he remained silent. Shocked and physically weakened, my hospital stay extended. Finally discharged, I returned home, but my husband was nowhere to be found. Glancing around the room, I noticed several missing clothes from the closet. He must have gone back to his parents' house, I thought, feeling even more despondent. I messaged him, "I've been discharged now." His reply came,
Let's discuss this Saturday at 1 p.m. at my parents' place.
What was going on? Had I done something? As the day of our discussion approached, I brought my own parents along to my in-laws' house. Fortunately, my brother's wife, who had experience with childbirth, agreed to look after my baby. When we arrived, my husband greeted us with a smirk.
Just in time. The results arrived, so come in.
He said, leading us into the living room. He placed an envelope containing documents on the table. What's this?
It's the DNA test results.
Huh?
You look like you're getting nervous.
Huh? Well, why did you even check something like that?
Well, now your affair will be proven.
With that, he grinned and spread the contents of the envelope on the table. Among the documents in the envelope, the top one succinctly stated that the child was indeed my husband's. He looked at me in disbelief, exclaiming,
Look at this. The child and I are biologically related. What? Why? How can this be my child? It can't be.
His thoughts remained a mystery to me. My in-laws tried to calm him down, while my parents and I sat there, dumbfounded. Finally, as my husband regained some composure, I asked, "What do you want? Why did you insist on a DNA test? Did you really think I was having an affair?" His response shocked me further.
Well, when the nurse tried to hand the baby to me, I noticed it didn't resemble me. I wondered if you were having an affair.
Wait, you said that at the time? I asked. He replied,
Your face turned pale when I mentioned it.
"No, I was just surprised and asked for clarification," I retorted. He insisted.
You were caught off guard because it hit home, didn't you?
I was furious. "Do you realize the grueling conditions I endured during childbirth? According to the doctor, I lost a lot of blood and was anemic. Given that, it's natural for my complexion to be poor." His stammered response didn't satisfy me. "I've been telling you all along, I haven't cheated." When I confronted my husband about why he had such suspicions, he revealed that before my childbirth, he had been researching various aspects of the process online. During his research, he came across the term brood parasitism, which refers to a situation where a wife intentionally conceives a child with someone other than her husband. Apparently, he stumbled upon numerous accounts of women allegedly attempting this. One particular post caught his attention. A man described how, during the birth of his child, he had noticed that the baby's face looked nothing like his own. When he jokingly remarked to his wife, "You know, this child doesn't resemble me at all," she had panicked unexpectedly. Intrigued, he secretly conducted a DNA test, and unsurprisingly, the results confirmed that the child was not biologically his. The post concluded by suggesting that right after childbirth, when women are exhausted and their minds are foggy, it's an opportune time for such revelations. I scoffed at my husband's insinuations. "So you thought I was up to something? Ridiculous."
Well, the baby didn't look anything like me.
I challenged him. "Are you serious? Take a look at this photo." I showed him a picture of our baby taken on my smartphone. Even my in-laws, sitting beside my husband, scrutinized their grandchild's features.
Oh my.
My mother-in-law exclaimed and retrieved what looked like an old photo album. She pointed to a picture.
It's Oliver when he was born.
My husband stammered.
Wait, our child looks just like me.
My father-in-law chimed in.
They're practically identical.
I emphasized. "Now do you understand? This child is undeniably yours." My husband slumped his shoulders, crestfallen, while my in-laws tried to console him. I realized that my feelings toward my husband had completely cooled. Regarding divorce and child support, I began. His response was a surprise.
Huh? Well, we don't need to divorce, since the child is mine.
"What? After baselessly suspecting me, you have the nerve to say that?" I retorted. He apologized profusely, and my in-laws, flustered, chimed in.
Mia, our foolish son is truly sorry. But could you find it in your heart to forgive him?
I requested some time to think it over and promised to arrange another meeting later. However, one thing bothered me, my husband's smugness when he doubted my fidelity. Even as he spread out the DNA test results, he wore a triumphant expression. Normally, if a wife were accused of infidelity, anger would be the natural response. I promptly hired a private investigator to look into my husband's actions. Within 2 weeks, I discovered his misdeeds. He had been having an affair with a coworker, and their relationship was quite intimate. Essentially, my husband assumed that if I were unfaithful, he could divorce me on my fault, claim alimony, and be with his lover. When he saw my pale face during the confrontation, he must have thought his plan was working. Little did he know that I would uncover his secrets. I immediately contacted my husband and headed to my in-laws' house with the documents.
It would take too much time to make me wait for 2 weeks.
He seemed irritable. How could the one who had wrongly suspected me now act so arrogantly? I felt compelled to teach him a lesson.
So, Mia, have you reconsidered divorce?
I apologize to you both, but I still want a divorce. My husband exclaimed.
What?
My mother-in-law added.
Well, that's...
My father-in-law questioned.
Why? Oliver has genuinely reflected on his actions.
My mother-in-law continued.
Yes, even during the separation, he mentioned feeling remorseful about what he put you through, Mia.
I see. I replied. Then, my husband unexpectedly became defensive.
After making me wait so long, you think you can just leave? Besides, how will you, an unemployed housewife, raise the child alone? You can't survive without my income.
How could he be so brazen? Especially after his own infidelity. Why are you so desperate to avoid divorce? Is it because you don't want to pay child support? I challenged. He stammered.
What are you saying? It's my child. I don't want to be apart.
My mother-in-law interjected.
Mia, that's absurd. Do you really think Oliver doesn't care for his own child?
As my in-laws began to question my actions, I decided it was time to get to the heart of the matter. Please look at this, I said, spreading several photos from the envelope. The images captured the moment when my husband entered his affair partner's apartment and later, when they entered a hotel. My in-laws were speechless.
What is this?
My mother-in-law asked. These are evidence of Oliver's infidelity, I replied. My husband's face turned pale. In essence, he deceived me first. He suspected me of cheating, hoping that if I were unfaithful and the child wasn't his, it would work in his favor. But I was completely innocent, so he panicked. Even if we divorced and he ended up with his affair partner, he didn't want to pay child support. My husband seemed to realize the truth, and his complexion grew even worse. Regardless, I can't continue with you. Please sign this divorce agreement. I'll handle alimony and child support through a lawyer, I insisted. Reluctantly, my husband signed the divorce papers under pressure from my in-laws. They apologized repeatedly, but the real culprit was their foolish son. Thank you for everything, I looked at my in-laws and said before leaving their home. Afterward, the divorce was successfully finalized, and I managed to claim substantial alimony from my ex-husband and his affair partner. Additionally, I secured monthly child support payments from my ex-husband. Unfortunately for them, their actions have consequences, and they now face cold stares from colleagues at work. You see, my ex-husband had already spread rumors about me being unfaithful at his workplace. However, the truth revealed that he was the one who had cheated, causing his reputation to plummet among coworkers. Interestingly, I learned about this from an acquaintance at my ex-husband's workplace. Armed with this information, I filed a defamation lawsuit against him, which resulted in additional compensation for the damage to my reputation. As for my ex-husband, he found himself drowning in debt, unable to afford his affair partner's company anymore. She, too, felt uncomfortable and eventually quit her job. Despite his discomfort, my ex-husband continues to pay alimony and child support, trapped in a living hell of his own making. It serves you right. On the other hand, I managed to secure an office job through a friend, and I'm thriving as a single parent. My son is growing up beautifully and is incredibly adorable. While I'd like to explore romance again someday, I'll wait until things settle down a bit. For now, I'm focused on working hard to provide for my child's future.
How did you find this story? Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until next time.